is everybody doing?
Hey, Tyler.
Awesome. Great to hear. Great to hear. So, if you all noticed, we had a little poll up when everyone joined. Just want everyone to get a feel for who's here. I'm going to go ahead and share that with everybody. There's a nice blend of everybody. There's students, fellows, faculty, coaches. Thank you all for being here. It is great to see such an inclusion of people on our campus already. Just have a good time on a Friday at Rocket Pitch. So, that being said, I'm Tyler Stanfield. I'm the program coordinator for Rocket Pitch. It's one of the many programs we have here at the Entrepreneurship Center, alongside Alumni Founder Series, Innovators Toolkit. We have a podcast that comes out every few weeks. We do a lot here, and we're here to spread the entrepreneurial movement and just share it with our community. That being said, if you're an audience member here, then welcome. You play a huge role in what we do. There's audience feedback at the end. You can cheer on our pitchers. You provide great feedback. So let's see everybody's smiling face this Friday and get everyone in the game. If you're new here, thank you for coming. Welcome. We love new faces. We love connecting with you. We're here to support you all in every step of the way. If you're a new member and you're not part of the Entrepreneurship Center, there's a link in the chat that I just posted. Click that, fill it out. We'll be in touch with you and see how we can help you move forward with whatever it is you're working on. Also, we'd like to thank Ferguson. This would not be possible without their support. So thank you all very much. And we also have some wonderful guests with us here today. They go by the term of coach, and you can connect with them online on our coaches page, and they're here to offer valuable feedback and advice. So I'd like to thank Mike Desher, Andrew Lloyd Williams, Karen Connor, and Dr. King for all being here. And also we have a sponsor from Ferguson here himself, Blake Luce. Thank you. So yeah, thank you all for being here. I'm not going to take up the stage because now this is Rocket Pitch. What is a rocket pitch? Well, it is 2 minutes uninterrupted for a presenter to speak about 4 main aspects: a problem, market, current solutions, and their solution. They're going to cover all of these. We're going to sit here and listen. It's going to be a great time. And also, the fun part about Rocket Pitch is the community sometimes has ideas on the fly. And what better way to present that than in an entrepreneurial, fast-paced environment? So if you're sitting here today and you just have a stroke of genius and you're like, wow, this is a money-making idea, or wow, this idea would solve so many problems, please just send me a message in the chat and I'll make sure you get in and you get your chance to shine. That being said, our first presenter for today is going to be Neil McLean. He's an analytics and art history major, and he is going to be presenting Nevadic.
Awesome. And is it 120 seconds, just to confirm?
Yeah, you get 120 seconds. Whenever you're ready, let me know. If you have any visuals that you need, I can get you set up with that too.
I think we're ready to go ahead here. Thanks for teeing us off. All right. Yeah, we're ready to go. 3, 2, 1. Hello, I'm Neil.
I'm Chris.
And we're on Nevadic. So as sales engineers at Oracle, we saw firsthand that software products are optimized for the customer experience and not for the demo. After we presented demos, prospects would ask to get hands-on, and usually one of 3 undesirable options happened. Number 1, you'd engage in a time-intensive proof of concept or pilot. Number 2, you provide an empty sandbox or trial environment where the user would often get lost. Or 3, sometimes even say no to prospects' hands-on access altogether. We talked to a lot of customers and realized this is a huge problem facing the sales and marketing market. We estimate the market size to be around 500 million for teams that have sales-led SaaS product evaluations. And I'm going to hand it over to Chris now to talk about the current solutions.
Yeah, and current solutions just don't solve it. The first example is Reprise, and they aim to tackle a similar problem, except they take HTML and CSS snapshots, which ends up feeling more like a PowerPoint than an application. Another example is Consensus, and they, again, are tackling the same problem, but prepare video demos instead of actual interactive applications. Again, not the same experience. So how Live Deploy is different. It's a method to statically deploy a dynamic web application that maintains an interactive and dynamic experience. It effectively allows you to create a safe static version of your application that you can give to prospects without worrying about account permissions, access control, or interacting with a live database. And once replicated, teams can personalize the data in the application, add user tours that highlight relevant features, and send it out via shareable link. Personalized demo automation today with Live Deploy.
All right, fantastic. Thank you guys. Last call for anybody else. I'm sure they love some competition today. We'll give it a minute or two. In the meantime, I see there's a lot of celebration going on in the background with some Starbucks, you know, some afternoon coffee. Gotta keep the brain fuel going. I totally get that. In the meantime, let's hear some feedback from some of the coaches.
Okay, I'll jump in. Michelle, you're supposed to jump in first. You're the doctor.
I couldn't do the mute button. You beat me to it.
Well, I want to jump in first because, unfortunately, guys, I did a job just like that for Apple and Adobe for a number of years, and I share your grief. So you did a good job explaining that there is actually a need for something like that. I think the best way that anybody has done it so far is through trial software that's unlocked, and maybe it's limited, maybe it's not, depends on the company. Kind of solves the need, but it also doesn't explain to a customer their specific, doesn't solve their specific problem. And every customer, as you probably know, having done this, everybody has a slightly different problem you're trying to solve with one big widget or one big piece of software. And it's always difficult. So given all that, I think your idea is really good. I think your pitch is good. I think you may want to rethink a little bit more about researching the subject line and how software companies are actually delivering demos. Because I know a lot of people that did those things. I gave thousands of seminars and thousands of demos at trade shows and things over 25 years. A lot of them, they're just doing them online, like you say. They're doing video, or they're doing interactive, not Zoom, but kind of like this, different things. So I'm not quite sure who would pay for it, but I think all in all, it's a good path to go down. So good luck to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the feedback.
Yeah, that's great.
Helpful.
I was just going to say thank you for presenting today. And I thought you did a great job with keeping the energy, just, you know, keep that moving like you did. I think with Neil, be careful. It kind of looked like you were reading. I don't know if notes were off onto the side, kind of distracted me a little bit, but keep that conversational tone. I know it's hard to even look at the camera when you're in this kind of setting, but this is good practice because a lot of times you're going to do other things remotely as well. So it's good practice to do that, but keep that conversational tone going. As part of the presentation pitch near the end, Chris, I would, let's see, be careful going down a little bit in your volume and your tone. I didn't know where we're like, oh, done. Yes. Okay. Yeah, there we go. This slow clap thing, right? So let us know that this is it. Go in with that final sale, and then really, and I always say this, but definitely say thank you, and then like polished, done, good. But yeah, thank you for pitching today.
Thanks. Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's exactly right. I didn't know I was ending it either.
Yeah, I thought it was a great pitch. I was trying to envision, though, some of the things you were describing. I think it would have been better if you could have had some screenshots, some screen shares to show us how it would actually look. I'd also say that if you can slow down the pitch a little bit, it seemed that you were kind of rushing to try to get everything into 2 minutes. I think if you spoke as though you were emphasizing bullet points, so that what you really were trying to say came across more clearly rather than just getting through it all, I think it would have been better. But I think the idea is great, and keep at it.
Thank you. That's good feedback. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, and hey, Neil and Chris, Rachel here. So I've seen you all before. I've seen you at the Lighthouse Labs demo day, and I really appreciated hearing your 2-minute pitch, the 2-minute version of what you'll have to say. you know, y'all are experienced pitchers. And so I just want like to kind of point that out for everybody here today, because a lot of times we see people who get up and they are doing it for the first time, and y'all are doing it for, I don't know, probably the gazillionth time, right? Yeah. And I think what I'm hearing from the coaches and the feedback, you know, it really actually kind of points to how you shape a pitch, right? And not just you, Nevadic, but like everybody. Y'all have a lot of things that are going on that are a lot deeper than that overview of the pitch. And I want y'all to try, the next time you pitch, try and pull in some of those specifics, right? To show the evidence of your actual business, okay? Because I know that y'all have already run a pilot or are doing that with a customer right now. Pull that in, right? And use that as the framework to, for example, show how you're different from the competition, right? How you solve a problem that the competition can't solve. So pull those things in. And you know, since I'm part of the ICAP program, you know, when I hear you say you talk to a lot of customers, throw that number out. Okay. Any evidence that you can show is going to answer some of these questions that are in everybody's minds. But good job. It's good to see y'all again. And hey, way to go. Bring out the alumni and go Tribe. Fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much. Good to see you again.
Okay, so that was our coaches' feedback. Thank you all. No one else wants to go, then we can continue to discuss. Oh, okay. Kevin, stepping up to the plate. All right, Kevin, go give it a shot. Let me know when you're ready, and I'll set your timer.
All right, I might not make it to 2 minutes. This is kind of off a limb here, but go ahead. All right, I'm Kevin Kokolis, and I'll be pitching sponsor relations. Okay, so there's about 1 million international students that come in to the US and study in America, and they are all looking for jobs. And especially with the coronavirus, it's going to be a lot harder to get sponsorships for these jobs. So my company would be an intermediary between the corporation or the company and the student, and we basically pay up front the fees due to onboard the employee, and then the international student would pay us back with a percentage of their salary. So we take like 10% of their yearly salary probably. And since there's 1 million over plus international students, I see that as a good way to make money as well, to continue funding other students. So that's the idea.
All right, short, sweet, and to the point. As long as you hit everything, that's what counts, though. Thank you, thank you. And again, coaches, feedback?
And what would you name this company?
Sponsor Connect.
I'm just curious. I didn't know how far
Yeah.
you got into that. So in order for transfer students or anybody to work here, they need to have a sponsor.
Yep.
All right.
The
So
company needs to pay for them.
right. And if they don't have that, you would be the middle person. Okay.
We would pay up front and then get them in the job and get our money back from the student.
And do you know what that cost is? Or does it differ?
It differs between the companies, yeah. We'd have to look into that.
Okay, so I guess you would have different packages or whatever that the students could then, depending on where they're going to work, they would then say.
Oh, yes, of course. Yeah, we could coordinate with individual companies and figure it out from there.
And then you would have them pay each paycheck a certain amount until you're paid
like
back.
a 10% off their paycheck would come back to us to keep funding other international students or pay back the money they gave up front.
And is there a charge besides paying you back and you're breaking even? Is there a charge on top of that for doing so? And what is it?
A charge on top? What do you mean?
So it costs X amount for you to sponsor them, and then 10%.
We're going to try to get more back than what we paid to sponsor them, of course.
Right. So I was just wondering.
Because we're going to be helping them out get a job in America, and they want to be here, so they're going to have to give us a little bit more.
Okay, I just didn't know if you had thought about what that would be yet.
No, not yet.
No, okay.
Just the basic idea of seeing if it's worth it or not.
I got you. Is there anything out there like that right now?
I have not looked into it, but me and a few MBA friends were talking about it last semester, and no competition came up. So while we were discussing, but definitely got to look
Interesting
into it.
idea. Good. Well, thank you for the courageous step up to present today. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
What about students that go back to their home country and they're not in the US, they're not earning anything in dollars? How are you going to get that back? And how will the exchange rate affect your calculations?
Well, we're not going to sponsor anyone that's going to try to go back. They've got to stay here and work in America, right? Or else why would they come to school here and try to get a job here and go back, you know?
Well, many students find it very hard to get a job, to get a visa to stay here.
Yep. But if the company wants to sponsor them, but they like can't put up the money up front, especially with the coronavirus, if we can provide that for them, you know.
Yep.
Yeah. Did I answer your question?
Well, I'm not sure. I think you could find that a lot doesn't always work out the way you expect.
Yes, we're definitely gonna have to have a way to back up, you know, to make sure they're gonna want to stay in America. We're gonna build a profile on every international student and make sure they're the right fit, you know, make sure they won't screw us over or anything.
Or enact penalties, perhaps, if they don't
Yes,
meet the
also.
contract.
Yep.
Okay.
They're
Could you
gonna
do a
be people that
statistic?
want to stay here and study in America specifically.
Could you do a statistical analysis on past students and how many of them would have met your criteria?
A statistical analysis, possibly, yes. We haven't gotten that far into the idea though. Just testing the waters here.
Yeah.
That's a good idea though, yeah.
Hey, Kevin,
And that'd be a great way to show evidence.
Yes, of course.
I think Rachel and I,
Appreciate the feedback.
like, you know, as you test the waters, I'm curious. Other than your fellow MBA students with whom you share this idea, have you done any discovery interviews with corporations or others that could be the key constituents for this venture?
We have not yet. So we didn't even know if this was worth it, to be honest, pursuing it. And these are the same MBA guys that I pitched last semester and they like didn't show up with me. So yeah.
I mean,
But-
while the feedback that you will get from coaches is super valuable.
Yes, of course.
The most valuable feedback that you can get are from your potential customers. And it's not asking them, what do you think of my idea? It's actually understanding what it is their actual problem is and the extent to which they're paying for solutions. That kind of knowledge makes your venture just crystallize when you know this.
Well, as you know, teaching the MBA, there's quite a few international students in our program. So that's where the idea kind of stemmed off of, because they're having a lot of trouble right now finding anything, to be honest. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that actually, what you just said, Kevin, speaks most to Graham's point is why are they having trouble finding jobs, right? Is it that they need some kind of intermediary, right? Or is it that companies just are not going to hire? You know,
they don't want to pay the upfront costs.
Yeah, and you think about it, like the entire landscape of the visas has changed, you know, in the past few years. So dig into that and into those things. See if you can find out some of that information. You know, do what Andrew suggested. You know, how many of these students are there? I really appreciate that you presented a way for this to make money, and it seems like you have put in some thought into this. That actually is going to need to be validated somehow, right? And I think that if you take the advice that you're hearing and you actually go out and you vet it with not only international students but also some of these companies, you know, you might find something interesting. And if you do that and you hear a surprise, we want you to come back and we want you to tell us about it.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for the feedback. I'm glad you guys think it's worth exploring.
Well, okay, so just to be clear, yeah, we're not here to tell you whether your idea is good or not. right? So inside of this, we're just trying to help with the communication and the pitching and articulating a compelling business. Okay.
Awesome.
So so keep that in mind.
Yep.
Only your customers can tell you whether you have a good idea or not.
Only their money can tell you
That's right.
whether or not you have a good idea.
Yeah, if you create enough value to take 10% of their salary, you'll have created a valuable product. So I think that's the piece is, and I know you might throw 10% out as just a kind of a don't really know, so we'll just throw a number out, which is fine. But yeah,
I just think they really, if they really want to work here, they'll probably throw in a little bit extra of their salary to stay, you know?
yeah. And I also think like with any business, especially something like bringing in people from the external, outside of our country to come take advantage of the opportunities within our country. And then you access 10% of their salary from a PR and outside view of that could be victimizing them in such a way. So like, not just will they give you the money, but is it something where you can showcase publicly that you're providing value in what you're doing? There's a lot of different eyeballs, in all that.
Definitely. I appreciate the feedback though.
And also, hey Kevin, how are you? I'm a fellow student, international. I feel your pain, but just to kind of comment on the fact that, for example, in Australia, I don't know how it might be here, but in Australia, it's not only the money that is a barrier to sponsoring an international individual, it's also the fact that you have to justify why I have to actually hire a Spanish woman in my case instead of an Australian citizen. So it's also kind of those extra barriers that are not just money that could potentially be a problem or not. That would be interesting for sure. I would be a client. Yeah.
Gracias.
All right.
Kevin, I wanted to chime in just for a sec because we kind of went around the idea, but not really about the pitch. I think considering you did this just off the cuff, off the top of your head and coming into Rocket Pitch and throwing it at us, you did a really good job. You seem to be able to think and talk at the same time, and that's very difficult, especially over Zoom.
Oh, I've done it quite a few times off the limb, so I'm used to it now.
Yeah, I agree with everybody else. You have a couple of great resources you might want to check that are sitting right around here. There's the admissions office at William & Mary for foreign students. Ask them. Okay. I'm not going to really volunteer Blake, but there are some major corporations that have HR departments that you could talk to that are very in tune with what the current laws are. And also, amazingly, the Immigration and Naturalization website.
Could you say that one more time?
The Immigration and Naturalization website for the U.S. Because they're the ones that every year set all the quotas and everything for students and workers and all of that through all the HR departments. I think you may find that it's not so much a matter of money, it's a matter of numbers.
Okay. I'll definitely look at that.
But again, I don't know either. So research.
Definitely.
Good job.
Thank you.
Yeah, all great advice from all the coaches. I want to make sure we have enough time for the last spontaneous pitch of the day. Asher.
Hey guys. There's a trash truck in the background, so please excuse that. My name's Asher, and I'm here with Pregig, and we are building a solution for people in the gig economy. And we all know the gig economy is on the rise, but the challenge with this is that it brings in a new structure of income level. People don't know their annual income, which is really difficult when you're trying to pay your bills or predicting how much of your salary your house will cover, like your rent will cover. And this problem is getting bigger and bigger. The gig economy is 55 million people this year. It keeps increasing in size. Soon it'll overtake the current salary situation that we have right now. What's the third point? Competitors. Okay. So as a solution to this right now in the market, some gig economy employers, for example, Uber, offer pay loans. They'll say, hey, we'll pay you your paycheck a month in advance. we predicted this for you, and you can use that to help predict your income for that month. However, this isn't enough because people need longer than 1 month horizons. People need to be able to plan for their life a year in advance for other big expenses they have coming up. So what we do is we use a lot of data, predict how much money a specific individual will make from a year of gig work, and we offer them that salary. Now, we might get this wrong sometimes and we might lose money, but we might get this right and they might make more money that year. And that is the extra cream on the crop that we take off for accepting the risk of ensuring them a salary. So we're pre-gig, we're really excited to be here, and let us know if you have any questions.
Fantastic. Thank you. Another off-the-cuff presentation. Great idea. Let's hear it from the judges.
Asher, one of the complaints about the unemployment payments that a lot of people receive is that they can receive so much from the government that it's not worth going to work in some cases. And what ensures that people will maximize their income rather than simply saying, hey, you're offering them a guaranteed payment so they can, you know, ease off a little bit and not actually do as much work?
Yeah, that's a great point. We get that question a lot. First off, our company is built on the premise that people aren't inherently lazy and will be willing to work for this for a fair wage. But on top of that, we're connected to your Uber account, your Instacart account, and we know how many hours you're working. And we have basic requirements as to what the agreement was at the beginning of the year. And we offer almost as like an intermittent employer with specific rules that you have to follow.
Any other coaches?
Asher, I think you spoke to this a little bit, but what is the extent of the competitive landscape around this idea?
So right now, gig economy employers, for example, Uber, offer like advances on your paycheck, but they'll only offer that for a certain amount of time, maybe a month in advance. And people are taking them up on it. However, people need longer horizons than 1 month. For example, if you're trying to save money every month for your kid to go to college, you want less of a loan and more of a salary.
The benefit to your organization.
I'm sorry, what was that?
That might have been accidental. I don't know. I also wanted to point out right at the outset of the pitch, you fell into the vague descriptor challenge trap where you said the gig economy is growing. And I think you said a lot or something like that, but you know, giving specifics about the staggering rate at which it is growing, I think just lends credibility to your pitch. When you have those stats right on hand, then it's like, oh man, Asher knows what he's talking about. And I know you do, but you just didn't give us what those stats were.
Totally.
And I'm trying to think of, is it like, and I may be getting this wrong, Chime or something like that, where they pay you before you get the money? How is that different than, how does that work? Because you're paying them in advance before they even get their check?
Yeah, it's slightly different. Think of us as an employer for the person that is working at Uber, and less of Chime, which is a loan advancement. There's one is like, hey, you've done the work and we'll pay you for it. And Chime is probably like, hey, we are paying you before you will actually work. If that helps.
Yeah, I would have to research. I was trying to Google it real quick. Chime, I was like, I knew I saw a commercial somewhere about it. Give it to you so many days in advance. So they've already worked, I think, and then they get it a few days once it's deposit or something. But how do you protect yourself with, you pay it out? And I know you said sometimes you'll get it right, sometimes you'll get it wrong and things like that, but how do you make, what's your profit?
Yeah, so our hope is to have enough data to accurately predict how much someone will make over a year, which is probably more data than an individual has because we have a lateral view into all that information. And I think, Michelle, this year you will make $60,000 driving Uber. I might get it wrong with you. You might actually make 55,000, but I've offered you a $60,000 salary. But with Blake, I've offered him 60,000 as well. But he's actually made 65,000 this year because he went above and beyond, and then that's how it evens out.
All right, one more coach.
Okay, I'll jump in. So thank you, Asher and Greg, for the pitch. Yeah, hey. I feel like it's homecoming week here. Yeah, yeah. So I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around this. Who is going to give you money?
So me being the employer.
Sure.
So if you think of me as the holding company, and I have a budget that I hire people with to go drive Uber, that's another way to look at it.
Who gives you that money that goes into your budget?
It's probably some amalgamation of profit and investment.
To be a part of the program too.
Yeah. This is where I'm having a really hard time figuring out where the money comes from. Okay, so yeah, I get it up front. It'll be investment, and then it will eventually be profit. But what about like the sustaining part of it? You know, the part that repeats. So first you do Uber, then you do I don't know, William and Mary. You know, then you, and so you do this for multiple companies, right? So each time you do it, where does the money come from?
So like, what are the revenue streams for you as a company? I think is.
Yeah, I see. So I think this is going to the question of like the profit model. So whenever an employee is working, I promise them a $60,000 salary, and they get paid weekly. So every paycheck they get actually gets funneled to us, and we write them a paycheck every weeks or bi-weekly.
Okay, so you're almost like you're almost like outsourcing payroll, and then you're taking a cut of it. Okay, except you have something up front, right? Okay, so okay, thank you for clarifying. And then I have another question. Do people really make $60,000 a year driving for Uber?
That might have been an overstatement.
They actually do.
Yeah.
Yeah, in like New York City, you can make that much.
Yeah. I brought a Uber driver with me.
I used to drive for Uber. that is true, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Asher. And just so everybody knows, you can actually sign up to meet with Asher on the webpage. So
we don't bite, I promise.
As a mentor, not just to meet with Asher because he's cool.
We can hang out too.
Neil too, I think. Aren't you on there?
Maybe.
We'll get you on there.
We're working on getting Neil onto the website. Not yet, though. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, and there you have it, folks. Connections from pitch to consultation, the full cycle. I know that the judges have already given the pitchers a nice feedback session, but I know there's probably more questions, or maybe you just want to talk to Asher because he's a cool guy. I'm going to give you that chance. We're going to go into breakout rooms for 3 minutes per pitcher. I'm just going to rotate them through. Sorry if I cut you off. I'm not going to be in the room, so I will have no way of knowing. I'll send you a 60-second countdown so we can sort of wrap things up. But we're going to go ahead and enter those breakout rooms, and I will see you all back in about 10 minutes. I hope everyone's been enjoying this, enjoyed your breakout rooms. I wish I could be a part of them, but sadly cannot. So I hope everyone takes those discussions and moves forward with them, takes their ideas and develops them, bring them back next week. As always, the emphasis here is on entrepreneurial thinking. Yes, there's a winner. Yes, there's $100. But at the end of the day, we're just a community of entrepreneurs. We love seeing new ideas. We love seeing new ideas take root. We love seeing them blossom and become something whole, complete, and coherent. That being said, whether you win, lose, don't just stop there and let it be the end of your story. Meet with a coach. Neil's a coach, and Asher's soon to be a coach as well. But there's other coaches here. Andrew, there's Mike, Karen, and Michelle. There's everybody here. Meet with them. They're here to help you. And also, we're going to vote. We're going to have a community vote. It's not just solely up to these coaches. So That's why I had everyone paying attention and talking. It's going to be a community poll, and we're going to see who this week's winner is. I'm going to go ahead and launch that. So go ahead and remember you're voting on who best addressed the problem, market, competition, and solution in their pitch. Yes, there is excellent feedback, but we're not going off feedback, we're going off the pitch itself. So while you're voting, next week there is an Alumni Founders Series on Thursday. If you're not sure what that is, I'll go ahead and link it over in it's on our website, and it's where we have our wonderful alumni come back and share with you a little bit about their experience, what they've been working on, and how they got to where they are today. It's an excellent chance to connect with fellow community members, connect with alumni, ask questions, learn, and grow. It's all about continual growth, and that's the most exciting part about it. Also, there's another link coming into the chat. I want to thank you all for being here, and aside from thank you all for being here, there's a reward for you being here. If you're not aware, we have a semester-long game going on where you go through different stages of entrepreneurial thinking, learning, and growing. At the end of it, you will be well-qualified entrepreneur. You will have learned and done just about everything that the center has to offer for you. But not only is the reward internal, there's external rewards. You get to have a nice sit down with some very, very well-connected alumni that will be able to help further your ideas, ambitions, careers, and further your growth. So that is a really, really intense game that we have going on. It's a lot of fun, great rewards. Hope everyone takes a chance to check it out. And so our poll is 100% voted on. We have this week's winner. Drum roll, please. I saw enough finger drums. Thank you, thank you. Congratulations to Neil McLean with Nevadic. You are this week's winner.
Thank you. Yeah. Glad to be here. Chris is here too in spirit.
Thank you. If you don't mind sticking around for just a few minutes after the call ends, but that's it, everyone. That's this week's Rocket Pitch. Thank you all for being here. We're looking forward to seeing you next week at Alumni Founders Series and Rocket Pitch. Have a nice weekend.
Just one quick plug, if I may.
Sure.
I want to shout out to the new podcast series that the center is putting on. I'll throw a link into the chat. The second episode of this podcast series just came out this week, and it is where we feature the stories of other William & Mary alumni entrepreneurial thinkers. So check out the podcast and give us some feedback about what you think. That would be really helpful as we move beyond 2 episodes and get into all the other great entrepreneurs that we have to speak with. So wanted to make sure everybody knows about that. Thanks.
Thank you.